Hello. Hello, can you guys hear me okay? Just finishing getting ready here. You shouldn't be able to see me yet. Hopefully. Fingers crossed you can't see me yet. Ugh. I'm falling apart, Captain. Give me audio, please. Oh, well, I can't hear that. It looks like you guys can hear that. That's just a volume setting on my end. Do-do-do. Oh, it's in a different spot. Sorry, it was in a spot that I didn't think of right away. I need to switch this to this, close it, then switch it again to this. There we go. Oh, huzzah, now I can hear it. Yeah, you guys should be able to hear the horse. Where I'm starting exactly where I left off. Jesus Christ! Everything's fine, nobody panic. I'm just knocking shit over. It's fine, don't worry about it. It's just my lights. I'm being crushed under the weight of all my responsibilities. It's fine, it's fine. Oh god, my face is really, really red because I just got out of the shower and I'm a little bit overheated. Okay. Oh. No, that wasn't even anywhere near my microphone. Hello. Hi. We're back. I got some tea. Are you guys ready to get started with this? Yeah, I'm a little pink in the face. Oh, I forgot to put on lip chap. I need this. I need this. If I go outside in the summertime, my lips get dry so fast. Alright. We are on our way, making our way downtown. This horse. That's Cream. Our horse Cream. We are making our way downtown. We are headed towards... Where are we going? We are going to... Oh, right. We're doing the regional phenomena. And we are going towards the Rito village of Hebra. Yeah, I know you can't see it yet. Setting up. That's still me setting up. I remember last time when we last left our heroes. Okay, all right. You guys ready? Oh, the replay will be available on YouTube as well. So. Last time on Dragon Ball Z. This is our horse Cream. I brought Cream over from my old Breath of the Wild file. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to head out? Head 'em up, move 'em down, head 'em up, move 'em down, rawhide. We are going... So if we go this way, we're going towards the Dragon Tears. We want to go here, because I think this is... Yeah, Rito, northeast... northwest. East-west. Yeah, we're going northwest. We're going... Are we going the right way? I always gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Yeah, that's not quite the right way. That's almost the right way. Well, we need to head towards... We gotta get back on the road. Gotta get back on the road again. We gotta go down this hill to get on the road again. I think if we turn around, we should be good. We're going this way. Nice. Yeah, you can transfer your horses in. This is my favorite boy. I think I'm freaking out the horses nearby. Whoops. We're just gonna make our way back to the road, and then we're gonna casually make our way to Hebra. We are in no rush. I am in a mood of just relaxing. We could just jump down the side and then just demand our horse follow us. But we're not about that life. Also, this shield looks really stupid on my back. I wonder if we already went to that. Oh, well. How did I miss that? What? Oh, okay. Give me all your stuff. We have named the goblins, the bokoblins that carry around, stuff. They're all named Steve. And Steve can stay the hell away from my horse. Let's go, Cream! Yeah! Alright, we are back on the road. Now we gotta know which direction we're going on this road. Oops. Yes, we are gonna go south, and then we are going to take a right. Alright, so we're going the right way. Wow, good job! Looks like you had a really productive day. Congratulations. Did I say horse or ass? I'd stay away from my horse's ass. Oh, what's going on with this? We are definitely gonna check stuff out on our way by, though, so... we will explore on our way through. Oh! Well, that's interesting. What are these guys doing here? Ooh. Interesting. Oh, they're throwing rocks at me. Oh, they're throwing rocks at me, guys. Wait, can't I just, like, teleport through this stuff? Okay, hold on. Stop throwing rocks at me. Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna fight them. I missed. Well, there we go. Flame emitter shield. I already got me one of those. Give me one of those. You know, I wasn't, like, planning on fighting those guys, but I guess I do need to collect their crap. Wing shield. This is fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. Oh, the bokoblins are gonna come and fight my ass now. Yeah, I think so. Up we go. Oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing it this way? I literally just talked myself out of doing it this way and then immediately started doing it that way. We don't need to climb. We have magic powers. Oh yeah. Chests. Nice. Not bad. Alright. Well. I might be an asshole. But maybe. But maybe. Come on. Come on. But maybe. Did that not hit any of them? There's no way. Okay, that one's dead. There's no way they throw that high. Oh. Damn it. There is no way I didn't hit that. Well... Fuck you. Fuck you. Ouch. I'm too slow with this thing. Oof! Yo, I was not prepared. They're speedier than they were in the last game. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of this weapon. It's a little bit slow for my tastes, personally. Jumped the wrong way. I'm also targeting the wrong guy. I jumped the wrong way again. Okay, hold on. I can get this. I can get this. Oh my god! I got it the right way and then did it the wrong way. Ugh. Okay, what are you gonna do? What are you doing? Come on. What are you gonna do? There we go. I got it this time. Nice! This is kind of crap. I mean, I guess I can drop it for my, I bet we can make Moblin Horn. Oh, they've got all big... What's that, dinosaur called that has the rock head? Oh, thank God for arrows. Give me all your bits! Man, they don't even got nothing here. Oh, 10 arrows? Thank you. I've been blessed. I don't care about wooden stick. Don't care. Wooden stick, don't care. Nothing up here. Alright. Cool. And then whatever the fuck that is. But we're gonna stay away from that right now, because that looks scary. But I do think we ought to take a moment and do a touch of crafting. Thank you, Helios. Yes. However you pronounce that. I still can't believe I got that blood moon yesterday. That was ridiculous. Okay. I don't like that those rocks are falling on my head. I think we take this and we attach something decent to it. Oh wait, no, we want to equip that. I guess we finally throw our stupid club. We'll find somebody good to throw it at. Then we want to take... Actually, I'm just going to resort all our materials again. We're going to take this boss's horn. Throw that on the ground. There we go. That's better. Nice! Alright, back to the road. Oh, for fuck's sake, do we gotta help this man again? Good job, Cream. Alright. Well, let's help the man. No, we can't stab this man. We must help him. He requires assistance. Yeah! First try! That's definitely counts. Alright, listen, we are bad boiling, aren't we? I guess we should have stabbed him. I drank a little bit too much tea today by having this one. But I don't feel... Yes, Dirty Crime Boy. Thank you for $20. Oh, damn, I needed the money. I gotta lie. Sleepover tickets! Okay, later. I see shenanigans afoot just ahead of me here. Whatever's going on with that. I don't like it. Where's my horse? Oh, you're right there. Aw, thanks. Good job, Cream. Alright, off we go. I don't like whatever that looks like. It looks like shenanigans that I don't want to deal with. Oh, except they have... ooh, they have treasure. We're a dirty crime boy, and so we gotta sacrifice for treasure. We're gonna steal. I mean, reallocate the unfair earnings of Ganon's crew. Reallocate. Shit. Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! I regret everything! I regret everything! Run! 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 Go! 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 We're not prepared! We're dipping! Oh, we gotta go this way. Battle Talus? Fuck. Look at this man. He's got a nice hat. Bro, run! Alright. Yeah, okay, we're going the right way. We're good. We need to stay straight instead of turn. Well, never mind. We will come back to do that later. We need a little bit... We need a touch more resources. Also, fuck those guys. I hate these wizards. The little wizard Poe things. These guys are the worst. Hate them. Want nothing to do with them. Oh my god, Schmippo! Oh my god, we got Schmippo! Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Hold on, hold on. We need to pause for a moment. Look at him! We got Schmippo! Can I make him bigger? Hold on, hold on, hold on. There he is! We got Schmippo! Ah! Yes! I shouldn't have done this on this screen. I am a fool. I should have done this on this screen. Hold on. There we go. I am very excited to see our little butterfly boy. Our little butterfree Schmetbo has made it into the chat, so congratulations. We now have our first emote that is animated. And we got our little sprite, so special thanks to Mr. Sirius for helping me with that. And special thanks to Generic Minority for letting me know that the German name for Butterfree is Schmetbo. Oh, amazing. I'm so happy for this. I'm so happy for this. It's really too bad that I didn't get the wall done beforehand, but don't worry, that just means that there's more things to look forward to where we will have a wall of flying Schmetbos all over the screen. I am here for it. I love it. I almost feel like I should have like a... I almost feel like I should have a have like a loading screen that's got Schmeppo on it. So like when we do BRB, we get like Butterfree, doing Butterfree things. We'll see. You know, we're building, we're working on it. Nice. I am so hyped for Schmeppo. Okay, so we stay straight here. I got greedy for treasure, man. I'm so greedy. Good job, Cream. Take us up this hill. Ugh, my horse is like, this hill, fuck. I really want to go to the plateau. Like, I want to see where the plateau is. We stay straight here, so we go this way. I just want to make sure we're going the right way. Yes, we are. Because we're heading to this dot right here. Northwest. Alright, good shit. Keep an eye out, by the way, for, obvious shrines, because we should be doing obvious shrines on our way by. Oh, is that murder I see? I mean, law enforcement? Oh, well, I fucked that up. Oh, I don't like- Ow! Fuck this guy! Ow! Fuck you! How dare you hurt my horse? Assholes. Now you're dead. Break. Thank you. Nice. I am making bank on arrows. I ain't gonna lie. I did open the window, so if you guys do hear some yelling, it is probably outside. Munch, munch, munch. Good horsey. I am probably gonna have to do some cooking soon, but we're okay for now. This is America! I am the law! Law! Ooh, awfully convenient that they have all these herbs and shrooms just kicking around, waiting for me. Nice. Hey, listen, they were impeding on my land, and that was self-defense. This is my property. I just want to point out, there's a lot of, like, the cold fruit. The anti-cold fruit. Spicy peppers, that's what it was. Oh, this guy again? How did he get here before me? Oh, he's one of those. Alright. Let's go. Okay, well this is being a dick, but that's okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat in this game. This is just Florida. This is Hyrule. My name is Link. Welcome to Jackass. Oh my goodness. What? I wasn't watching. The physics broke. In the bad way. It's okay, we'll get it. We'll get it fixed. He's so upset. I've also realized I made chat way too big when I put it back. There we go. I mean... yeah, it's still a little bit off. Hold on one second. There we go. There we go, that should do it. President Hudson! You know, at some point we're gonna meet President Hudson, right? Like, that's gotta happen. Alright, let's try that. We did not do it the first time. Oh, it's like going sideways. What am I saying? Did I not say Hudson? What did I say? Did I say it wrong? What have I done? It's like tipping sideways, right? So we should just redo this. That's right, Terrytown. Yep. I remember that. But we haven't met him yet in this game. Alright. Oh, I get it, because it's all pointy at the bottom. Well. What do we want to do here? How do we want to do this? We could build... We don't want it going back and forth sideways, right? So, how do we keep it from falling this way and keep it from tipping around? What if we build a hole? What if we build like a hole to go around it? He does kind of seem like the Muffin Man, doesn't he? You're right. Okay, but I can't attach it yet, right? Because I gotta put this here. Yo, I gotta give this guy points for being loyal as hell. I'm basically... Okay, well, fuck you. I did not mean to attach that. Get out of here. I don't think that's gonna work. Alright, let's try something else. That's not gonna work. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Alright. We need... How do we do this? I feel like I need to pay more attention to how it falls, because it's tipping the other way, right? Oh, don't talk to this guy. My horse is like, you're an idiot. Alright. Because that's basically what it's doing. Maybe if I put... Maybe if I put a wall on one side. I'm trying to be a little bit smart about it, right? Like, I'm trying. Okay. You put that there, and then it's gonna try and tip one way or another, right? So what we do... Oh, this needs to come out this way a little bit. Just a little bit. Not you! Get out of there, you freaking weenie! You need to be up here. And then we need the other one on the other side. This is what I was thinking, okay? Like, I'm trying to be, like, not stupid. I'm doing my best, alright? I'm just an idiot. I can't be trusted. Do I look like an engineer to you? There we go. And then maybe, just for extra support, we can kind of put one of these, like... Like here. There. I don't know. Let's see if it works. This will be like, what, second try? Third try because I wasn't watching it. Hey! Alright. I did. Oh, come on. That was pretty good. I'm actually kind of proud of myself on that one. Alright, I'm gonna be a little bit proud of myself. That was pretty good. In my humble opinion, okay? Okay? Okay. Thanks. Acknowledge me. I'm getting paid $20 a job. And I'm getting lunch. These are slave wages. This is why I'm... Oh, hey. Oh, you know what? Bomb flower's pretty good. You know, a bomb flower, you know, that might have just made it worth my time. Alright, let's go cream. Let's cheese it! One of the things I absolutely love about this game is just taking my sweet-ass time, just making my way down the roads and just looking around. Is that a cave? Is that a Bacabo cave? Is that murder I smell? Okay, so I see another thing, and I see that, but I think I smell dirty Bacabos over here. I think I smell some reallocation. I think I smell some dirty crime boy things. Shh. Shh. It's crime time. Yeah, I got $20 in the pizza party. Yeah, you're right. Link, you bitch. Oh. They're sleeping. Shh. Oh, there's a boss. Shh. This is a crime syndicate. This is a crime syndicate. No! Shit! I hit the wrong thing! Okay, well... That guy tried to sneak up on me! You saw that? Self-defense! Oh! Oh! Take a shot. I finally died to a guy. I jumped the wrong way. Oh! Finally died in combat. Oh, so close too. This is what I get for pressing the wrong button. That's what I get. Ah. Ah. That's okay. We can do it again. We're ready for it now. I mean, we were ready and we just fucked it up. By we, I mean me. I'm the one who fucked that up. Nobody fucked that up but me. Why does it make me so happy when you mess up and get killed? I don't know, because it's part of the fun. Stop that. Ah, so they changed this from the first game. In the first game, you would have... Most of these guys would have been dead. Like, everybody except the dude would have been dead, I think. If I remember correctly. Hey, let's not fuck this up this time. I don't know how we fucked it up last time. How am I not getting... There we go. There we go. Alright. Gonna take out his two little buddies. We're gonna steal his weapon. That's what we're gonna do for sure. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's all good. We're good, we're good. We are going to drop this. We are going to take that big club of his. Alright, ready? Right in the taint! And there we go! Right in the balls! And that is how it is done, my friends. And then we take all their shit. Boom! Got a little bit of money. What you got in here? Oh my god, so many arrows. This game is so generous with arrows. Bless. Wonderful. Beautiful. Alright, now that we're done reallocating, you know, resources for the good of Hyrule to guerrilla warfare, I mean, protect our land from Ganon's people, I mean, monsters that he endlessly revives. What the fuck? Oh god. Well, that's terrifying. I don't like that thing. You stay away from me. Yeah, you stay over there. Yeah, that's what I thought. I've got so many arrows, I'm so happy. I'm all about it. I'm all about the arrows. Give me more arrows. All of them. Alright, we're heading this way. That was definitely not breaking and entering. We are a good boy. We are not crime boy. Another successful sneaky circumstances by the dirty crime boy. I'm gonna have to do art tomorrow of dirty crime boy Link. So he's like delinquent. Delinquent. Get it? Link? Delinquent? I'm a bad person! We out here. Doing crime. Being gay. So, normally, had I been playing this game by myself, I would have immediately run to my best boy, Sidon. But the game clearly wanted me to go this direction. So, you know what, I'm willing to save Sidon until we won't embarrass ourselves because we know what we're doing it. Because I would hate to embarrass myself in front of the best boy. So we're gonna be a gay scaly this game. Because we gotta be gay and do crime. We're gonna be a delinquent. And I have my best boy, I got my best boy horse Cream with me. By the way, that's the other drinking game, is every time there's an innuendo, take a drink. Take 2 drinks if the game did it itself. If it was me, that's worth less. I do that all the time. You made pies with your girlfriend? What kind of pie did you make? Was it cream pie? Hey, oh god, I have the best horse. Good job, Cream. I don't know what you're talking about. All of this is for the good of Hyrule. With no oversight. Because the princess is gone. Absentee-ass princess. Do not forget that you guys have point redemptions now that you can utilize. So please feel free to do with those what you will. Combat training archery! Well, good thing I have a bunch of arrows. I feel like I should change my bow so I'm not using my good one. Is it gonna give me instructions? I gotta hit it and it's big old eyeballs. Heed my instruction. Steady your aim and fire at the enemy's head. I do have sensitive turned off, so I don't have motion control on this. Your other attacks are ineffective here. Ready yourself. Press and hold. Release. Got it. Ow! There we go. Well done. This sing-songy voice reminds me of, like, something from Adventure Time. Do not fear the approaching enemies. Fire true and strike their heads. I'm sorry, approaching... Yeah, I fear! Much fear! Stay away from me! You have proven your mastery, now proceed to the innermost chamber. I only missed twice, that's not too bad. Also, I like how many bows it just gave me, that's wonderful. Thank you. Do I want to get any swords here? You know what? Let's drop that. It's about to break anyway. Let's grab us an extra sword. Okay, cool. Alright. Stuff! Give me your treasure. Oh, fuck. Yeah, get out of here, you piece of crap. Old wooden bow. Nice. Yeah, see, the ancients agree with me. The ancients are I'm blessed by gods. Gods and the ancients of my race and my goat grandpa and furry grandma are approving of my crime, which of my gay crime. This whole game is just hippie central with all pro LGBTQ plus furries. You do understand that this game informed us and canonically made Zelda a goat girl, right? Like, she's part goat. We need to go pray at a temple and go get some stamina upgrades. For the sake of my blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. Nice. Oop, oop. What's that? I was just gonna jump and land right down there, but I seem to have noticed what looks like a Korok. Oh, you're a little shit. What is that? Also, where did it... Oh my god. Got it. Yeah! Thank you. What is that? Whatever that is, I need to go get it. Oh. Food. Nice. Time to cook. What do we got? We got... We should make some of this. I know I'm not gonna get as much bang for my buck, but I only have 4 hearts, so there's not much point in doing much more than a bunch of smaller ones right now. Later on in the game, it'll be more valuable to do like some bigger ones. We might want to make a stealth elixir as well. While we're at it. Which we might have the stuff for. We do have a silent princess. Let's make an extra... Nice. So we gotta be prepared. If I remember correctly, the readout area is cold, so I want some extra cold resistance. Link has a lovely humming voice, I just want to point that out. What is this? Restores health, restores health. Let's do a couple more of these. I do have my warm pants on still. Speed. Glowing effect. Like, what? Why would I want a glowing effect? Beetle!
Yeah!
Hello there, fellow traveler. On the journey of your life, it's me, Beetle! If you forgot my beetle-shaped backpack, it's right here to remind you! In this topsy-turvy world, there's only one direction to go, forward. So I travel, it's forward all the way. This guy is a One Piece character. I can sell you bugs of the highest quality, and if you need anything else on your life journey, I can sell that to you too. Short on rupees? Don't worry, anything weighing you down. Gemstones in particular fetch a high price. Well, what'll it be? I feel like we should get rid of these things. Perhaps? Because, like, I have a lot of clothes I want to buy. This gives 4 attack power. This gives 10 attack power. You know what? Let's keep a couple, because I know we're gonna need them for upgrading our clothing. We're only gonna sell one of these.
Wow!
Okay. We might end up not needing it for clothing, but for now... this is one of the first times I feel like I don't need to buy arrows. I have 55. So I'm okay for now. Love me some Beetle. I wonder if Tingle's gonna show up in this game. Why do you look like you have a quest for me? Interesting poster. Reports say that this is a picture of a beast that's been rumored to be lurking somewhere near Hyrule. Ganon? It's been the talk of the stables. They say that Princess Zelda herself was seen traveling with this beast. Look at those tusks, what a fearsome creature. I wonder where the beast is right now. Quite a Ganon? Is Zelda traveling around with Ganon? If I were younger, I'd hike all the way to all the stables to find the truth. If there's any truth to these rumors. Alright, what does this say? There we go. Okay, that looks like a high lizard and a Pacabo horn. And it's gonna make me some kind of blue elixir that's gonna do something. Maybe make me run fast. That looks like a haste. Daddy! My horse just ran all the way around and got to the stable right when I was ready to go. I love my horse, Cream. I almost just said I love Cream, and that, you know what, that would have been just as good. Beetles are the best. Yes, you are, Beetle. You're the best. Alright, making our way. Oh, we need to collect some meat for the dogs. Remind me to collect meat for doggos. Look at my horse is amazing. Ah, what a relaxing sound. There is a show out right now called, like, Magius or whatever. It's a new anime out, and it's basically, what if the One Punch Man was a wizard? Or what if the One Punch Man went to Harry Potter school but didn't have any magic or anything and was just muscles? And it was before he could necessarily beat everything in one punch. I definitely recommend watching it. I love the sound design. I love the sound design so much I'm gonna talk over it. Oh, there's our guy holding up signs. Let's help him out. All right. I definitely think that I should, if I want to be... What the fuck? If I want to be better at arrows, I do like having a little bit of motion control, but for now, I've got it off. Yeah, there you go. He's standing! Nice. These signs are kind of rough, dude. Fills my heart with joy to see him doing so well on his own. Take this as my thanks. 20 bucks. Thank you. Also, you must be hungry after all that hard work. Thank you. Ooh, spicy one. It's got cold resist on it. Nice. Premium collection. Sleepover ticket. Thank you. Okay, bye. No bomb arrow this time, or no bombs this time. I want to see what's happening over here. Hello? I'm gonna train again today to become an all-time great Rito warrior. Ah! Who are you? Someone else who aspires to greatness? Well, you know. The greatest crime boy. Guess you heard my little pep talk to myself, huh? Talk about embarrassing. For us, Rito, our ability to control the wind is one of our biggest advantages in fighting monsters. That's why I train here every day. Aren't you curious about what kind of training I'm talking about? Of course you are! I use these sweet wings of mine to return the balls that fly at me, push them back one after the next. What do you think? Want to give it a try? Yeah, sure. Think you can wing them in like me? Tell me how the setup works. You see that impressive tower back there? We built that baby just for us. I mean, that's really impressive. The guy operating the tower is Tabalt. I keep him on retainer so I can train. Tabalt will lob balls at you. The game is to return them by to the moving basket. You'll be faced with a total of 12 balls coming at you. Oh yeah. Getting a green ball is worth 1 point, but red balls net you 3. I don't see a featherless guy like you doing it my way, though, so I'll let you use any tools or mysterious powers you've got going for you to return them. No, I don't. Listen, I can't afford this right now. I want to play, but I can't afford the money drop. I have clothes to buy. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this when I actually have some coin. How dare you? What is this dog doing? Trying to fight me? Excuse me, I need some meat. Thank you. Usually I don't like fighting the wolves because I think they're kind of cool in this game. I will be sure to boop puck Oh, I got him! What a shot! Hold on, I need to- whoops, I didn't mean to jump off. I just need to look at the direction we're going. Alright, yeah, we're going the right way. Off we go! Like, look at all the spicy peppers! What's going on? Oh, I see some people on my land! They don't know. They have no idea. No clue. Now they know. And I missed. I want to call bullshit. But it's okay. Where are my Bacabo bits? Nice. Nice, nice. Oh, so many arrows. Do these guys, like, not have anything? I guess they had a cooking pot if I needed it. Okay. Cool. Those look like collectible bugs. I have failed to collect any bugs so far, except for fireflies. I got a couple right at the beginning. Ah, the cold darners. Oh, we gotta save and we gotta stretch. Alright, alright, alright. We're on it. We're on it. We're saving. We're saving. We're saving. Nice, nice, nice. And we will do a quick stretch. So, here's our stretch. Put one arm out. Lean it on whatever you got to lean it on. Lean away from it. Your other hand up. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Nice stretch. Hold that for a couple of seconds. Same thing, other way. Nice stretch. Good. Make sure to stretch along. Arms up. We're gonna go sit upwards a little bit. I'm gonna go this way so you guys can see. Hands behind your back. Out. Push downwards. Open your chest up. Head straight. Back straight. Push downwards and a little bit back, but not too far. Whew. Good stretch. Good stretch. Can we get a 5-minute not sitting cross-legged points prompt? You know what? I feel attacked by that. I don't know if I appreciate you coming at me like that, but yeah, we can do that. I'll get that one added after this. And I will uncross my legs. Manya sent me one of those little triangles on the ground, and it has been a godsend. Damn. Halloween art project? For me? Or for you? For me? Cool. Tell me about it. Sitting cross-legged is only bad if you do it for, like, insane amounts of time. Which I do. Sitting cross-legged isn't inherently bad for you, it's just if you do it too much. Which is what I do, so, you know, I don't mean to argue. Oh, I'm gonna shoot this man. You wanna run him over? Sup, bitch? Oh, what the hell? Okay, bye. I remember in the... What's this smoke? I remember in the last game you could just run them over. It's only bad for you if it's a bunch. I do it a bunch. Listen, you're right. I feel a little bit attacked, okay? Just a little bit. Oh, look, this looks like Doom. My favorite thing! They have clearly set you up, though. Like, there's a whole package of stuff right here. What do we got going on down here? Oh, it's a guy. Oh. I was totally gonna drop some shit on your head, dude. Oh, he's got a horn! It's a rescue! Heading to Rito Village, which is suffering through a fierce blizzard, to cheer them up with music and supplies. I got my wagon going at a pretty good clip on the... Clip? Is that a term that makes any sense for this world? Okay. But then I suddenly drove into this hole. It's never been here before. The horse I was riding ran off somewhere. My cargo was spoiled. The only thing I have left is the wagon. I haven't figured out how to get both me and my wagon out of this hole. I won't leave it behind, which leaves me stuck here, plain and simple. I'm relieved that somebody came to rescue me, but I hope you have a plan to free me from this hole. Well, I see some mushrooms, first off. I'm gonna have to listen to this dude playing the entire time. Alright. What is... Okay, so we got fans. We got a fire thing. Can I set this in the middle? Oh, no, that needs to be turned. There we go. Nice. I got this. I'm kind of having a little trouble seeing what I'm doing here. Why can't I attach this one? Oh, there we go. Stop! I just want this one thing. F. There we go. Ah, that's probably close enough. That's probably close enough. It's probably fine. Nope, not quite. That's pretty darn good. Where does the goo come from? Listen, we don't talk about where the goo comes from my gooey hand. Alright. There you go, dude! Hell yeah! Goodbye! Oh shit! Oh, I guess that didn't count. Alright. Alright. Alright, well if that wasn't good enough, maybe it needs a fan or two on it. Let's go! Goodbye! Oh, come on. I just started it in a bad spot. It's fine. It'll... Hey, get back here. Where are you going? I'm just gonna wait for our battery to recharge. Alright. Off you go. Look at that! Ah! Ah, hold it! Don't take my dear precious wagon away from me! What do you mean?
Oh.
Phew, oh, you had me going. Seems mean to take another fellow's precious wagon. Oh yeah! I definitely wasn't gonna take your stuff. My wagon's not the only. I'm a good boy. I'm not a crime boy. I'm not a dirty crime boy. I would never have just taken your wagon. Bro, get on. Get on the wagon. Just get on the wagon. What? Just get on. What do you mean? This guy's a dick. He won't move. Well. This is awkward. You shut up. Hold on. I'll be right back. I have an idea. I was a Ganker Street shit straight up, dog. Yeah, no, listen. I kinda now I just want to take his shit. Alright. I'm gonna build this man a fucking ladder. This dude is a dick. Oh, you piece of shit. You know what? That probably makes my life easier, to be honest. Hey, oi, 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 oi. It's fine, it's fine. This dude is just the worst kind of person, don't worry about it. Do everything for me! I can't even walk onto the thing! Freaking Christ. Entitled fucking millennial. Fucking hippie. Playing his goddamn whatever the hell he is playing. There! I hate you. perfect. Look at this. You're not gonna get any better than this. What are you freaked out about? I'm making you a bear balloon. Okay, you need to stop with that. What you're doing is very rude while I'm trying to save your life. Alright, get on. Get on. Get on. I made you a thing. Wait, get in the wagon! Oh my god, I hate you! Of course I know what I'm doing! You fucking chuckle fuck. This fucking asshole. I made you a big as fuck ramp that you could have just walked across. Go. Bye. Fucker. I'm out of the hole! Yeah, you're welcome. Ugh. I got so nervous I fogged up my glasses and missed what you did, but you did it. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh my god. The supplies I collected to help feed Rito Village have all spoiled by now anyways. You should go back to the I should go back to the Stable Trotters and rejoin my bandmates. That will do more good. Oh, have you not heard of us? Us Stable Trotters are a music troupe that go around the stables to perform. If I had to guess, it's our way. Oh, it's out of your way, but they might be near Woodland Stable over in Eldon. After I return this wagon I borrowed, I'm going to rejoin the troupe. There are so many people who would benefit from hearing us play. Oh. I had to listen to your stupid horn the whole time. Oh, one more thing. Please take this. It's a cooking ingredient I picked up in my travels. This is the least I could do for getting me out of there. Honey. Yeah. You know, honey's expensive. I'll take it. I'm sure we'll bump into each other again. I look forward to playing my horn for you. I hope not. Bye. I hope I never see you again. Ugh. Alright. I miss Cass. Yeah. Very funny. Eh. I miss Cass. Cass was the best. He played great music. Ooh. Nothing. Making my way downtown, faces fast, moving fast, and I'm homebound. Cream! Cream is coming. Yeah, let's go! I have the best horse. My horse is amazing! Let's go! The fuck was that? Make sure you guys keep an eye out for shrines. So did he say something about the Rito struggling with some kind of storm? Could that be it? Could that be the storm? Boy, is that gonna be our first boss? This guy again. It's okay, we'll get to the village eventually. What the hell? Oh, these are getting a little bit ridiculous, guy. Alright. Don't freak out, Cream. It's okay. How many times am I just gonna try and stand that up? The real questions. Let's see if that one works. If I could do his sign, it would be way too easy. I knew it! I needed that little extra bit of weight. You are so welcome. Amazing. Astounding. I will also be sure that I did see that Winding Land gave Puck a boop, and I will make sure that that happens. 20 bucks, thank you! Spicy veggie rolls, thank you! Aye, nice bomb flowers. I will always take a bomb flower. Never say no to bomb flowers. Alright, that looks like some murder over there. I mean, I am not a crime boy. Ah, shit. I was doing so good and then I fucked it up. Ugh, I can't believe I messed this up. Hello, excuse me? Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Sidon? Hello? My spear's finally gonna eat it. Ooh. Ooh! Look at this! These guys had some good shit on them. Oh my god. Why? There we go. Destroy. We just succeeded in breaking one singular thing. There we go. Good shit. What else these guys got? What's going on over here? He's an eagle. And he's big pimpin' in America. Big pimpin' in America. I'm assuming that's a hawk, actually. That's the sound hawks make. Oh, what's this? Are those some good old boys? They're kind of far. I see shenanigans afoot. Damn. It's okay, we got another try. We got this. How do they not see this? What? What does this dude got on his backpack? Can I blow it all up? What? Alright, well this guy's gonna be a bitch. Whoops. I probably should have had another, Ouch. I am attached to the wrong guy. Oh shit. Oh, we're fine. Who just sounded the alarm on me? Everyone's dead. Oh. That guy. I don't want that. I want a long stick. What did this guy have? Ooh, chill shrooms. Alright. I do seem to struggle with... No, that's the first time I got Bacabo guts? Really? Blue Bacabo horn. A two-pronged horn with sharp edges. Sharp edge tips. Ooh. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. We're gonna make ourselves a pitchfork. Hi, hello, friend. Bonk. Alright, there we go. Nice, so many arrows. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alright. Alright, alright. Well, let's get our chest first. More arrows, very nice. Definitely worth thank you for the being a part of our Hyrule Restoration crew. And we appreciate your donations. And we're going to attach... What are we going to attach to this? This thing? +7, I mean, this thing, Boss Bacabo Horn, is still the best. +4. I mean, it feels like kind of a waste to put it on this +2 item. Have something better we can put it on? I don't want the claymores. I've got too many claymores. I don't want the flamethrower either. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't really want that. I guess I'll keep one. We need to get some better shit. Our shit's kind of trash. Alright. Let's get out of here. We gotta go find some better stuff. Any of these guys have, like, a regular sword? A stick. Alright. We're gonna go find some better stuff. I want some good shit. I really feel like I'm wasting my horns. That's really funny if that is the case. It's really cool to see the stuff in the sky, but I'm pretty sure that thing's gonna fuck me, and I'm kind of half expecting that bird to be one of the Rito flying overhead, because that would be really cool. I ain't gonna lie, that'd be pretty baller. On this episode of Dragon Ball Z, we're finally gonna make it to our destination. Maybe. Alright, off we go. I gotta get a little bit better back support in my chair. It's because I'm so small. I spy with my little eye a rush room. I spy with thy little eye murder. Ah, I see. Well, first off, I don't really want to deal with you. You have to start dealing with Octo Rocks from here on out. If we get an opportunity, I'll show you guys a trick. What is this? Lizalfos. Okay. I'm not about to run my horse into a bunch of Lizalfos. I'm not an asshole. I like my horse. Good thing I have warm pants, though. It's getting cold. I did not mean to fire that. He didn't see anything. It's fine. Damn. Oh, damn, I got sniped, what the fuck? This item sucks. Captain One... Where did I get this from? I should probably equip a shield. I should probably also attach something to my shields. I like that they charge you now. That's pretty cool. Ow! I fucking got bonked, man. I like how different the enemies are. I shot him in his toe. Rock boomerang? It's a boomerang with a rock on it? That's kind of ridiculous. Alright, let's get one of our shields here and actually equip it with something. Oh, why do I do that? God, I'm bad at this still. There are a lot of buttons to remember. We need to... What do we need? Let's go with something defensive, I guess. Elixir ingredient. Elixir ingredient. Attack power, attack power, attack power. Do any of these have, like, a oh, I guess the attack power and the defensive power are the same thing. Where'd that dude's head go? Didn't I have, like, a... Oh, there it is. Let's get that. Oops. There we go. Spiky. Ah, shit. It's a Steve. Get out of here, Steve. I'm gonna shoot you in the dick. Nice. Done. Okay, we're not in a rush. Wait, what? Hold on, what are these? Wild berries! Oh, very nice. Wild berries add +1 attack power? Weird. You know what? We're just gonna walk our horse through this because I'm not convinced I'm not gonna... Oh. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. I kind of figured something like this would happen. The trolls in my comment section. Shoot him in the dick! When in doubt. What is... Is it snowing? Is that what this is? Did I just happen to get lucky and just find a, like, a way right between all these... this spiky bullshit? Oh, I did. Weird. Okay. Well. Alrighty. Well, first I'm gonna climb this. I like that it's snowing. That's cool. Oh, maybe I can't climb this. Maybe I can ascend it. Too high. Alright, well, whatever. We'll come back to that in a minute. Try first! Let's go! The weapon drop noise in this is exactly the same noise as in Hitman. It's the save menu noise. Oh, that's hilarious. I like that. I'm just gonna run us a quick break before it goes off, so we don't miss anything. So I'm just gonna run a 1 minute. I'm not actually going anywhere. I'm just gonna sit and chill for a hot second. You put in a Discord? Nice. Noise, 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 noise. Whew. It's important to take breathers, everybody. We've also been live for 2 hours, so I should probably almost take like give us a quick break. How do you guys feel about that? You guys want a quick break? You guys want a snack break? You guys want some snacks? You need a juice box? Yeah, it's a break time. Alright. I like that one. That's a good one. Alright. We'll give us a little mini break. We'll switch to BRB. We'll leave the cool-ass music playing, because why wouldn't we? And, cool. Alright, let's take us a quick little break. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It looks like Sam from D&D Shitty Ideas and from Spontaneum has finally got a hard copy of his book available, which I just linked in the chat. So if you're interested in the Shitty Compendium, definitely, absolutely go check it out. Sam is amazing. He's fantastic, and you should totally check out on his book. He's been working on it really, really hard for quite some time now. So I just want to say quick congratulations to him. And if you're curious or bored, go and check his book out and see if that's something you might be interested in. Supporting small creators, check him the fuck out. Sam is an awesome dude. He works really, really hard, and just straight up congratulations. If you happen to be over and see him on Twitter, or you happen to see him over on his Twitch channel at Spontaneum, tell him I say hi and go check out his shit. He is fan-fucking-tastic. So let's get back into it, shall we? We have a puzzle to solve. Poozles! Okay. Well, that's a bullseye if I ever did see one. And this is a ramp. And that is a bottomless pit, so we guess we won't jump into that. What are you? Oh my god, did we finally find the rockets? Oh, I can throw it. What happens if I throw it? Does anything happen if I throw it?
Yep.
That was a good shot. Bonk. Bonk. First try. I see. Carts. Fascinating. Yo, I'm sorry, are we suddenly playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, the fucking Zelda game? Alright. Bro, that's illegal! Okay, well I can't attach them. Oh, I have the wrong thing selected. There we go. Oh. Come here, you. Rocket to the moon! Oh, shit, boy. I kind of don't really like where that's sitting. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of making me uncomfortable. There we go. Let's go! Woo! Ah! To the moon. Hell yeah, that's fun. You know, I was a little bit skeptical. I was a little bit skeptical when I saw some of the stuff in this game and it was like rockets. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Oh boy. Oh buddy. Is it time? It's time for us to live our dreams. Yo, we gonna make this jump. Come here. Whoops. I just about gave myself a heart attack. We can 100% make this jump. 100%. Yeah, I don't like that angle. That's a little bit. Yikes. Come on. You think we need more than one? Let's do more than one. Let's go. Let's go. Get in. Get in. Get in. Let me in. Let me in. Let's go. Woo! Hey, I didn't find my treasure chest. Where's my treasure chest? You guys see a treasure chest? I didn't see no treasure chest. Alright, well, whatever. It's fine. It's fine, I guess. Hell yeah! Rocket to the moon, baby! I am Dirty Crime Boy Link, and this is Jackass. I'm going to try to do everything in the most fucking complicated, ridiculous way possible. We are at, by the way, they're about to give us another thingy. We're at 6. It should pop up right here. Okay. Am I still getting corruption removed from my arm here? Yep. Alright. Six. Nice. Thanks, Goat. Grandpa and Grandma Furry. Nice. Oh, I can hear my neck just creaking. Ugh. I got a full Pikachu team. Hell yeah, I do. Alright. So... this does not look like a thing we can climb. However, there is more than one way to skin a cat in this game. So we are gonna skin us a cat. And the way we're gonna skin us a cat... Ash, get up. Jump. Open your parachute, you fuck. That doesn't make enough parachute stuff? God damn it. Okay, well fine. We're gonna do it again, but we're gonna do it in here. I stood in a really bad spot. I should have gotten up here. Oh, fuck you. Thanks. That was not high enough. That wasn't even close to high enough. Listen, I don't need you and your nonsense. Get fucking out of here. Give me this. I need this. 20? Are you kidding me? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Alright. A rocket? Oh boy, we got us a rocket. We can totally get up there. We gotta get up there. I believe in us. How do we do this? Can we just strap them to ourselves? Can we just hold on to it and launch it? What do we stick this to? Well, that's a problem. What do we got around here? What's that? Oh, bokoblin stuff. Okay, well, I guess we pick up their bits. We are collectors, after all. We can't just leave shinies laying around. There's gotta be something. Nothing? It gave me a rocket! What if I attach a bird to it? What if I attach a cooking pot to it? What if I attach... oh, there's a couple of them. What if I attach... there's gotta be something. I gotta have something. What do I got? A fan, a fire, a bird wing. You know what? We are going to rocket up there. You can't stop me. We are going to go... oh, we need this to point downwards. Okay, listen, I got the brains! I got the big brains. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't you panic. We got this. I'm gonna try and make these even. Alright. Now we take this whole thing and we flip it over. Okay. But now we gotta get on it. Can we get on it? Okay, we need to move it closer to a... We need a point where we can... Are you kidding me? You know what, I don't... Fuck you, dude. I have to be careful not to launch my things right while I was... Okay, there we go. Let's go. Woo! Nice. Look at that! Free treasure for me. Ooh! Nice. That's pretty solid. I don't know where my thing went. I'm pretty sure it just... I'm sorry, is that actually it? That's not it. No, that's just like a rock coming down, right? Yeah, okay, that's just a rock coming down. Okay, well, it flew into oblivion. Thank you for your service. Do we want to deal with this? They look like they were having a really good time. You know what? I appreciate that. Let's go back to our, where we were headed. I do want to actually get to our, yeah, you smell crime, right? Right? I smell a B&E, and I love me some bacon and eggs. Alright, let's fucking go. Let's go. Look, they even put a rock right on top for me. This is just Wile E. Coyote the game. Yeah, get out of here, stupid rock. Move! I will not miss out on a chance to roll a rock right on top of somebody's head. Alright, where is he? Oh, buddy! That's a lot of bombs! Oh, you get this is not my fault, all right? This is no longer on me. I didn't set up this scenario. I walked into this scenario. Nintendo's fucked up. I did not look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 fucking bombs and a fire and just a rock. This is not my fault. I didn't do this. I didn't set this up. This wasn't me. Well. Well. What? Oh, my good bow is done now. I don't appreciate that. Goodbye! Well... Oh. There seems to be a survivor. Ouch. Well, greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you. I do not want your wooden stick, but I do want your parts. And your food! Thank you! Oh, well, what a lovely time they seem to have been having. Be a shame if somebody dropped a rock on their head. Oh, got some apples. You know, I gotta say, there's something special about this game. Give me your crummy bow. Thank you. Alright. Well, that was a successful trip. And look, I got a steak out of it. I was rewarded with delicious food. If I get food out of it, I can't be wrong. Right? That's how that works. That is nonsense. Alright, which way am I going here? This way! Oh, is that a stable? I found another stable already. Cool. I didn't expect to find that so soon! Cool. My horse will make his way over here. And on the plus side, I have my warm fuzzy pants on. And never go anywhere without your warm fuzzy pants. Lucky Clover Gazette. Excuse me, I'm gonna take these. I'm gonna take this. Thank you, good job. Who are you? Rito Stable. It's not, no it's not, it's the Lucky Clover Gazette. Oh, I'm sorry, old habits die hard. Harder than stables do, clearly. Ugh. I'm just here to do odd jobs, so if you have business with the... What's this? This place was once a stable, and I was once its owner, but when that terrible cold wave rolled in, it froze up our business along with the rest of Hebra. Which is why the stable's closed, and the Lucky Clover Gazette has bought out the old space. I'm sorry, Hyrule seems to be a pretty open area. Does somebody own this? Who did they buy it from? Who did you buy it from? What? Correct. There's actually, I do actually have a merch store that you can get fuzzy pants that have a goblin in the pocket. I don't have anywhere else. I should remake them, actually, to be honest. Else to go. I thought I'd try to help out around here. Capitalism. Not that I'm much good at it. I just learned the terrifying way what happens when you burn a Hylian pine cone. Perhaps due to the abnormal weather, there is an explosive increase in Hylian pine cones. They're oily on the inside and burn really well. Too well, in fact. I tossed one into the fire for kindling, and the force with which it erupted or burned whipped up a whirlwind. Interesting. Which in turn sent all the freshly printed newspapers flying far, far away. If you find a Hylian pine cone of your own, whatever you do, do not throw it in a fire. Oh, well. Well, gee gosh willikers, sir, I sure will make sure I won't do that, gosh darn. Yo, this dude! Hold up! Is this dude a pelican? Wait, why does this guy look like the guy from Rescue Rangers with a bigger face? Pen. Wow. Shh. Oh, sorry. Tracy, our editor here, is getting ready for our big Princess Zelda investigation. You're here about our newspaper, right? Then you can talk to me too. I'm next in charge. Gotta say, you did some good job finding us out here. Some go right on by. It's pretty unusual for the newspaper to be run out of a stable. Tracy cheated the previous owner out of this place. But you see things like that are... You see things like they are, don't you? I mean, as a fellow crime boy... Hey, I wouldn't cheat somebody out like that. Come on. Hey, want to be a reporter? Shine light on the truth? Expose evils in our world? You mean like ripping somebody off for their space? I could put in a word with Tracy for you. Hey, quiet! Don't you listen, Pen? I told you I was busy, but you keep bothering me. Another thing. I bought this place from the owner after we came to a fair mutual beneficial agreement. Could you stop telling people I cheated him out of it? I'm sorry, Tracy, but there's a new applicant for a reporter job. I wanted you to know. A new applicant? Hang on. You look like... I'm sorry, Pen, but could you give me and this guy a second here? Wanna be Anderson Cooper? Alright, how about you give me the whole story, Link? I'm the editor of the Lucky Clover Gazette here, if you couldn't tell, so don't worry. I know everyone involved with this story. Purah asked for us for help digging into what happened to Princess Zelda. Now tell me everything. What exactly brought you here? And then I immediately spill the beans. Make her pay you first. So that's why she asked you to investigate places seriously impacted by the upheaval. Well, coming here was a great call. What I mean is, we're getting tips from all over Hyrule, so many in fact that it's been hard to keep up. Why are you here? If you're getting tips from all over Hyrule, why are you in the most inconvenient spot? And among those tips we've been hearing about someone who looks like the princess appearing in all sorts of places. I was about to assign Pen to chase those leads, but he could use a partner. I won't tell Pen who you are. It's better if no one knows you're involved, which is why I tell literally everybody I meet who I am. No snitching, crime boys for life. Snitches get bitches. I mean, wait. What do you say? Think you could work with him as we investigate? Of course I wouldn't ask you to do this for free. Oh, thank you. Though it'd be nice. Wait just a second. I'm gonna get you a little incentive from the back. Oh, froggy armor. It's easy to cling to wet surfaces. I can climb in the rain. I'm sorry, did you just tell me I can climb in the rain? Yes, please. Thank you. This was a complaint I had of the previous game, was that I figured like the climbing gear, the full climbing gear upgrade should have let you climb in the rain, even if it was slower. Or maybe the Zora outfit should have let you climb in the rain. You work with Pen to chase down all these new stories, then I'll give you this armor piece by piece, all yours. A pretty good deal there, Link. Anyway, that's my offer. Pen, you can come back in. We are getting the frog armor. We are sidetracking everything we are doing right now, and we are getting this fucking armor. Starting now, this guy's your partner. So. Well, if our editor says you're in, then it looks like I had to size you up. I had you sized up right. Tracy knows how to pick them. Alright, you two, here's what you're going to do. Visit every stable for leads. Pen, you'll head all of this up. Stables bring in people, and people bring in details, and details are what we need. Now, get me some news. Oh, okay. I don't feel like we can just drop everything we're doing. Okay, listen up, partner. We're on the trail for the truth about Princess Zelda. We can't let the smallest clue slip through our talons, or hands in your case. Are your wings not hands? Because it looks like you got fingers, my guy. We should visit as many stables as we can. Travelers always have plenty of information going on to Sorlong. Okay, bye. Alright, well, can you, visiting stables. Oh, you really not gonna give me any other details? I don't like that almost says horniest. Go. I like the art. I like the brushy look that it's got. Very cool. I mean, I gotta pay a little bit of attention to this art later, so that way I can recreate it so when we do our Crime Boy. I didn't mean to set that, by the way, on our adventure log. Um... What? Where Princess Zelda is remains a mystery. Pura said you might learn more by looking into major phenomenon that are troubling some regions. She marked them on your map. Which is the regional phenomenon, right? Okay, there we go. Well, fuck me. I'm gonna take all of your shit. Every single piece of shit there is to take, I am taking. I don't want the pot lid. That's like the one thing I don't want. Listen, you're gonna make me run all over Hyrule for some frog gear. I am absolutely taking all of your stuff. And I'm gonna light your place on fire with all the fucking pine cones. I mean, you know, technically, if the place burns down, the frog armor will probably survive. And look at those logs, you know. Damn. Well, you know, I tried. I will save. Alright, so I guess we will complete this quest as we go, because it would be a little bit unreasonable, I guess. It would be a little bit unreasonable to just drop everything we're doing and go straight to the... Oh, we will absolutely be throwing a pine cone at fire. We are absolutely gonna be up to that. The bridge is busted. Let me guess you have business in Rito Village as well. Sorry to disappoint you, but the bridge is down. There's no way across. Since the newspaper ran an article about the Rito food shortage, supply shipments have been started to arrive, which is great, but with no bridge, there's no way to transport the goods to the Rito, and I'm at my wit's end here. Even though it's daytime in the other corners of the world, the sun is refusing to show its face, so it's cold. I might have to... It's just Canada, man. I don't know what to tell you. I might have to throw another Hylian pine cone on the fire. Those things burn hot. Last time I stoked a fire with one, it caused gusts of winds that made my bangs all frizzy. Recently, a guy named Gally tossed one into a fire right next to some newspaper. The papers caught fire, and the gust of wind flew all the way over to Rito Village. There's no way to treat the written word. Well, I mean, you were clearly telling me how to do this, right? Can we just build a thing? Can we build a thing? We've got lots of things. Well, apparently I can't grab those things. Can't grab those things. Can't grab these things. Wingless visitors cross at your own peril. Oh, okay. I mean, that's ice, so I obviously can't just jump. Alright. Well, let's just go this way. We're gonna have to be a little bit careful because this is gonna be a little awkward to do. Maybe. It might be fine. Tree looks neat. Keep your eyes peeled, people! Cream is the best horse. Confirmed. We gotta get over there. It looks like the Divine Beast isn't perched there anymore, too. Alright, it looks like Cream's gotta stay here. Alright, good luck, Cream. See you in a little bit. Maybe. She'll be fine. Oh, the Hornist quest is already done. We did that. let's get the map. That might help us out a little bit. Time to shoot a pine cone. Excuse me. Da, 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 da. Being able to add choo-choo jellies is pretty nice. Not far enough. This isn't working. I need to get closer. Shit. Whoops. Typed. Oh, come on. Why am I slower than the bokoblins? This is nonsense. Hey, I got my pine cones back. That's kind of cool. Can you get... Damn it, Link. Oh, goodbye, my cool Reaper sword. Treasure! Yeah, no, that was when we were listening to that guy's horn the whole time. We had to get him out of the fucking thing. That guy was a dick. Ooh, nice. Cool. What else you got? A bow? Yeah, we need a new bow. Absolutely. We got trash here. Give me this. What else you got? Nice! Oh my god, such a plethora of... I'm never gonna get over how many arrows this game is giving me. Amazing. Alright. Alright, off we go. I'm aiming for that tower. Ice fruit. Fruit that generates cold when struck. Cooked correctly, it gives off an effect that strengthens muscles and increases attack in cold temperatures. Interesting. That's a cool flag. What's going on here? That's a lot of fire. Friend or foes? Friends. The first time I played Breath of the Wild, I wasn't sure if Lionels were gonna be good guys or bad guys. I just walked up to a Lionel and was like, ah, hey there. This dude is wearing... Oh, this fucking guy. Look at this dude's clothing. My god, I mean, I guess I'm not really doing any better, but, you know, at least I'm, like, poor. Whoops. Give me that. I got this, I got this. We're fine. Thanks for your help earlier. I've eaten special rice balls. That's cool. This game does a pretty good job of, like, letting you know what you can do and how to build stuff. Yeah, durability is, no, it's offset by fusions. If you fuse your stuff, it definitely does, it lasts longer. And you can also, there are actually ways to repair your stuff as well. You just, it's a little bit of a, I think it might be like a hidden thing, because nobody's told me about it before. So I'm not going to do it until, like, either somebody tells me about it or I find a really good opportunity to show you guys. I haven't found a good opportunity yet, so... What are you gonna give me, bro? $20, thank you. You might be hungry after all that work. Ooh. Yeah, more bomb flowers. This guy seems to be the best place to get bomb flowers. We are also not doing the most amount of exploration. Alright, let's talk to these people first. Ah, the climbing path. And I did see another shrine behind us. Hello! The blizzard makes it hard to see where you're going, so we keep these bonfires going as a beacon for lost travelers. They eat up a lot of firewood, but it's worth it. You can spot them even from up in the air. Though I'm as proud as I am of them, they can't beat the spotlights set up around the fancy Skyview Tower. Yep, that is where I'm heading. It won't be warm like a bonfire will, but it's hard to beat it for size and sheer brightness. The Highlands are pretty incredible to have built something so impressive. We found these strange things at the foot of the Hebrew Mountains. They're oddly shaped, aren't they? I've done every test I can think of, but I haven't learned anything. Not even what they're made of or what they're for. All I know is that they're pretty heavy and pretty sharp, and it'd probably hurt if you got hit with one. I've got all I'm gonna get at these things, so if you want them for some reason, they're all yours. Yes, thank you. No. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Please, let's just walk away so I can take these things. Thank you. Can I take this stuff too? Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for your contributions! Hello. Special menu? Alright, cool. Cooking. Spicy peppers. Yeah, got lots of those. She's not looking, it's fine. You didn't see anything. Hello! Hey, bud! Hearth. Yo, look at his hair. Look at this man! Look at this man's hair! Bro! I am standing really close. That's some nice, chicken breast you got there, my friend. I heard you were missing, but here you are, looking perfectly healthy to me, yeah, except for my fucking weird-ass tattoos and my fucking arm. Teba was worried about you. Aw, Teba's a sweetheart. You know, have you been to see him yet? I'm tempted to go tell him the good news, but I'm all tied up at the moment. Teba should be in Rito Village, which is just south of here. I'm sure he'd be happy to get a visit from you. Yeah, you know, I'm working on that. Excuse me, I didn't, excuse me. Alright, so we need to go to that. Off we go. I don't think we're gonna take the long way around. Cause I ain't about that life. Oh. Alright, well, there's plenty of shrines around, so we'll do some of those in a couple minutes. Is what my hair? What? But we're getting a little bit chilly up here. We might have to eat a snack. You and Hearth have pretty similar hair. A little, like me? Not Link? You think so? I don't think my hair's that swoopy. Maybe if I had more product. Like the big overfoof. That was a lot easier to get to than I thought it was gonna be, I ain't gonna lie. Well, I feel like we just burn all this down. I feel like we just, light all of this on fire. Spread. Further. More. Why didn't this spread to here? That's some nonsense. I feel like I should have gotten all of that in one go. Oh wait, can't I throw? I guess I could have thrown a pine cone at it. Wait. Pine cone. Drop. Oh. Nothing happened. It went away. Alright, well, whatever. What the fuck is this shit? Whatever, it's not my job to clean up Hora's shit for her. I tried to throw the pine cone. Throw was not an option that came up there, sadly. I should have set the pine cone up ahead of time. That's what I should have done. Oh, there's another shrine up there. Alright, you guys ready? It's cannon time! Let's go! Woo! I'm not cold at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Kingdom Hearts ass music. Oh, you think the velocity of that would kill me? The velocity of just crashing into the ground at beyond terminal, crashing into the water at beyond terminal velocity. Hebrew Mountains. Nice. Ooh, that's Storm. Alright, well, we're going this way. We need to go straight across to here. So we need to go directly south. This way. We got a long way to go. Oh, there it is. We got a long way to go. I don't know if we're gonna make it. Do you guys believe in us? Halfway. Oh, I gave up my glide thing. Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna be tight. Hold on. We got food, we're ready. We prepped for this. Hell yeah! Woo! Oh, fuck! Come on, man! Oh, that's what I get for trying to land on the top of that thing. Shit! Ah! Come on! Where is it gonna drop me? My map's not filled in. Alright, let's try try this again. Wait, I didn't check to see if I had food. I did not think that that was far enough to fucking kill me. Come on. The game cheated me. Woo! Let's go. Oh boy. That's funny. Okay, cool, thanks. I can just go to where the X. I like how it's got like a latitude and longitude and like degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of cool. Excuse me. Alright, we're going, turning around directly south. Alright, let's try this again. I probably could have fallen quite a bit further, actually, before doing this. There we go. We got this! We got it this time. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Cool Kappa landing from 5 feet in the air. Yeah, come on, man! My knees just went through my chest, it's fine. There! We did it! We're at Rito Village! Jesus Christ! Come on! I am like, welcome to Jackass. My fucking knees just went through my fucking chest. Because I dropped 5 feet. Alright, here we go. We made it to Rito Village. It is absolutely covered in snow. It is freezing here. And we're about to talk to some fucking children. I think we will call it there for tonight. This was hella fun. We're gonna get to the next set of plot as we move forward. There will be a premiere, so if you did miss part 1 and part 2, part 1 is going to be made available probably tomorrow before we do the art stream, and it will be your premiere, so you'll be able to join us in the chat. So let's savor on up. Wonderful. We have made it to relative safety. Oh, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's so much fun when you guys are here. I'm enjoying playing this game with you guys, particularly because I am getting distracted by like all the things to do, but I am sticking on task, and I'm really bad at that with these kinds of games. With these kinds of games, I usually just wander off into fucking nowhere's land. And quite frankly, if it were up to me, I would have already been at like Laneru Pond going to visit my sexy fish boy Sidon. But tomorrow we will, at noon tomorrow, we'll get part 1 put out. So if you did miss the beginning and all the beginning shenanigans, you'll be able to join us for the beginning shenanigans, as well as I will be in the side chat. We'll also, part 2 will come out not too long after that, and then part 3, and it'll just be in succession. So if you wanted to catch it again, you'll be able to catch it again. If you want to replay and you want to share and you want to enjoy it, you'll be free to do so at the YouTubes. So make sure you're liked and subscribed over there, and make sure you got your bells on and all that good shit. Here's the link for you. And then once we're done with that tomorrow, we'll work on drawing our crime boy. So we'll have a version of Link that is our what did I call him? A degenerate? No, what was the word? What's the word I used? Oh, a delinquent. So we will design ourselves our dirty crime boy, our delinquent. And that's what we're gonna get up to tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a lot of fun. I'll see you here tomorrow as well as in the side chat tomorrow also, but earlier in the day. Let's set up a raid. Who's live right now? Oh, somebody else who's playing it. Persephoroth is playing, so go say hi to Persephoroth. She is lovely. She's been having a bit of a rough time recently, so definitely go and check her out. She's a lot of fun. She did the cutest thing with a bunch of Merrills in Pokemon Scarlet. So tell her I say hi, tell her it's from me, and we'll see you guys next time. See you tomorrow! Bye!